Yes,
All right, folks. We had a lot of interesting things happen over the last couple months, both in real life and, of course, in game. We actually did our first forward deployment. It was actually very effective. We learned a whole bunch. And it was exciting. Give you guys a chance to get out there and see what Entosis links and stuff are like and what that whole ball game is like. And it was really good to see the results. That was mainly for training purposes. I know some people were a little disappointed because we actually started getting offered space and crap by French Connection, which was pretty hilarious. We thought they'd probably crack after 3 weeks, but that happened way faster than we thought it would. It just proves just how obnoxious Entosising and Eve is right now as far as soft mechanics go. Nobody wants to touch it, and I'm going to turn you guys all into Entosis Wand ninjas.
User in your channel is recording.
Because, of course, if something's super obnoxious, we should be experts at it. So I want to talk about today, we're going to do some adjustments and how the Alliance is staged as we progress towards our ultimate goals. I know that there has been a lot of people that are super eager to jump out to nullsec, mostly coming from pilots that have a bit more experience. I just want to remind some of those pilots that a mass majority of our membership right now will not survive out there. So although you might thrive out there, 5 or 6 of your buddies in the channel here or whatever will end up quitting the game because they won't be able to make any money or do anything. I want to give them the best chance at survival as possible. At the same time, for all of you new bros and for some of you guys who are getting nice and comfortable in Empire, remember we are a nullsec alliance. We are not nullsec Care Bears. So, yeah, that pendulum can swing too far either way. In the meantime, what I'd like to do is readjust our staging to Torinos. And I will have the Alliance directors right now go ahead and spam that a couple times in Alliance chat for anybody who missed it. And I want to go over why. So, in the past, when we made our push in a nullsec a long, long time ago, we had to do this same adjustment. And the reason for it is right now when you guys put up for a fun room, for example, to go out and try and get some content, some of you FCs will relate to what I'm saying right now. About 60-70% of your total fleet time is spent traveling. It's just too far. So it's not like on the other side of New Eden, but it does eat up a lot of time just trying to get out to where the action is happening. Also, I was kind of hoping we'd get a little bit more content like out of the Prism area and the low sex there, but for the most part, you guys have just been chasing around like faction warfare frigates, and there's only so much content you can get from that. So I want to adjust us to Torinos. It literally puts us right next to EC Pater. For any of you new guys or people who haven't lived in the North before, who don't know the significance of that, EC Pater is nullsec, Torinos is highsec. There are only a small handful of systems in the entire game that are highsec that border an actual nullsec without having any low sec in between. This happens to be one of them. We will be able to grab everything and anything that we need on the highsec thing of things, or a highsec side of things, and at the same time literally have all of the content and experience you guys need for living and existing in nullsec literally next door. So what I want everyone to do is safely, because I know there's still some invasion crap going on, move your assets from San Manuni and get all your stuff to Torinos. Moving sucks. Nobody likes doing it, especially if you have a lot of ships. I apologize if I'm creating a little bit of a grind for you, but I will make you this one promise. Xavier, watch your hot mic. I will make you this one promise. SMA is only going to move a big move one more time after this, and it will be out to sister space, and then we will not be moving again. So that being said, we're all going to suck it up, get our stuff adjusted and moved over. Some of you guys might be wondering why we didn't just go to Torinos in the first place, and there's actually a really good reason for that. I wanted you guys to be able to mine all the base minerals and stuff off of moon drills. You can only put moon drills down in 0.5 systems when you're in highsec. San Manuni is surrounded by 0.5 systems, and then along came CCP and fucked all that up. So at this point, there's no reason not to adjust and push to the next stage of our ultimate goals. So there you go. Now you got the skinny. So that's the where, that's the why. I want to talk about a few other changes that are happening in SMA. One is we created a really good environment for new players to come in to get skilled up. We are injecting people with skill books and giving them all sorts of opportunities and experience. And the last thing that we want to do is create some kind of player farm for other groups to come in and steal members from SMA. Okay, because there's always the lure of greener pastures. And unfortunately, what a lot of people don't realize is those greener pastures, they aren't always what they seem to be. And I'll give you an example because I know there's been a lot of jabber going on about said greener pastures. Right now, Pureblind is on the scales about to tip one way or the other into a major conflict. When I say a major conflict, I'm talking about like an Imperium-sized major conflict. When you have coalitions and outside groups joining those coalitions and doing things like straight up attacking Imperium citadels and shit and Pureblind and openly engaging their capital fleets. Did anybody see that battle report where Conifers just tore Goons a new one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I sat in voice chats and in chat channels and in Skype with the Mittani for what, fucking 10 years? I'm telling you guys right now that they're already staging and looking at probably fucking firestorming that shit. And he and their Sky team are known for being very patient. They'll let them keep picking away and gaining confidence and letting people get involved because they want the content. Now, they're not interested in the Sov when they come up here. They're going to be coming up here like a fucking wrecking ball or be like Miley Cyrus just entered the building. So structures, anything that can be added to a kill board, basically, will get fucking wrecked. So I would not personally, if I wasn't the Alliance executor, I wouldn't be looking at anything up there right now like it's some kind of greener pasture at this very moment in the game. Now, I could be wrong. But if you ask my directors or anybody who's been in SMA for a long time, I'm usually not. So that sounds pretty smug, and I apologize for how that came across, but pretty good at reading the maps. Okay. In the meantime, though, what's going to happen is while all that's happening is we'll be able to get in there and get a lot of content stuff out of there. Now, just to be on the record, I like conifers. I like pine cones. And I'm not blaming them for any of the stuff that they're doing or saying they're making bad decisions. It might be good for them at the moment to be doing what they're doing. Not necessarily good for us. So you guys are just a little too green to get involved in.
User in your channel
what is it? Sacrilege? Is that what they're flying, Moby?
Yeah, some.
Yeah. I mean, any of you guys want to take on the Imperium 200-man sacrilege fleets and shit? I'm not interested in that at the moment. That sounds like a...
Get to your bombers!
That sounds like a massive ass whooping that I don't feel like being on the receiving end of, especially not if we had anchored structures.
Bombers trying to kill some of those guys.
And they'll bring 200 more sacrileges. What, 40,000 people in the Imperium or some shit right now?
Yeah, but you got to make a dent. You can't let a machine like that just walk around.
Oh, I just treat that machine like a rising tide, sir. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. Same thing with Sov. We're interested in the
NC dot.
Yeah, well, that's for another talk. You can ask questions and stuff at the end. Let me continue my rant here. We're going to NPC nullsec, you guys. That is our ultimate goal, and there are some steps that we have to take along the way. Some of you guys might have noticed that there's a new corporation on the Alliance called Simia, some other stuff. That is going to be the Nubro Corporation eventually. So all of you guys that are coming into Hot Dam, you're going to continue to be in Hot Dam, but eventually we will start focusing all of our recruitment efforts on that new corporation. And when we make our push on the next phase after this one, Simia will be dropping Alliance and staying in Torinos. And we will continue to build a massive presence in HiSec right there in Torinos. And we will use that to feed active members as they get trained up to a certain point into the Alliance after we're in nullsec. That way, the people that we're bringing in and the new players get a chance to get their skills and stuff up, and then we know that they can actually survive out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because of that, that means that if you look at a map, such as this one that I'll link in the bottom, check out the bottom of TeamSpeak there, and just put a link in there. This is Dotland for some of you new guys who haven't seen it before. It's a cool site that does really easy to read maps of Eve, of New Eden. Pureblind. So you guys will see that system there. X70, dead in the middle of Pureblind. Sisters of Eve space. Everyone see that?
User in your channel is recording.
Yeah.
For the purpose of awesome participation during the Alliance meeting, put an X in Alliance chat in Discord if you can see X70 in the middle of that map. There we go. Right on. Okay. Now you guys see down towards the bottom right, you'll see Torinos down there. Can you guys see that? So the space between X70 and Torinos is going to be very important for SMA. Not that we have to own it, but we got to make sure that we can fight out there, we can clear a path when needed, etc. Because long term, there's going to be a massive alliance of new bros sitting in Torinos that's part of our community and the core of our community in X70. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that at any point we can bring those two together for whatever it is that we want to do, whatever mischief we're trying to pull. So Torinos gives us an awesome opportunity to do that. It lets us switch a focus from some of the other things that we've been doing to skirmish warfare, because that's the type of stuff that we're going to find out here more than anything else. Now, some of you guys might be going, River, why don't we just put 200 people in battleships? And I said this in the cantina a little earlier, but I'll explain why. If I put you guys into a big-ass battleship doctrine or battlecruiser doctrine, even if our intent is to go shoot Banderlogs, for example, right? And they bring their big battleship fleet out or their capitals or whatever to fight us, and then we come out with our stuff, we'll end up in a massive brawl and we'll die. Not to Banderlogs per se, but to every other fucking entity within like 30 jumps of that area, because all of New Eden is so bored that everybody will jump on the fight just because.
Oh, a piece of candy.
And that meta, it being that way, makes it so we have to do things a little bit differently. So that's why you're seeing a lot of stealth bombers. That's why you're seeing us talk a lot about like guerrilla warfare and stuff like that. And you're going to hear us talk a lot about skirmish fighting. Skirmish fighting means much smaller fleets. So some of you FCs who are taking out the little 5-6 man like fun roams and stuff, you're already on the right path. You don't need the entire alliance to be in a fleet for skirmish warfare. We're talking about much smaller fights. Sometimes they can be a lot funner. They're faster. And it's going to give you guys the experience that you need to be able to survive out here, because this is Warlords Online in all of Pureblind right now. The politics, not even Pureblind, an entire fucking game is Warlords Online unless you're in one of the power blocks. So the way the politics work out here is like sometimes they're blue with people, sometimes they're not. So-and-so might be blue with two other entities, but one of those other guys might be shooting the other guy he's blue with, but he's blue with both of them. I mean, the politics are fucking chaos. So, exactly. And the only thing that they can all agree on is they absolutely hate Sov warfare.
Yeah.
Okay, so, which is, like I said, which is why I'm going to be turning you guys into a bunch of Sov warfare ninjas. It's cancer in the game, and I'm going to make you guys masters at it. So what you guys can do to help, especially all the new faces that I'm seeing in here, is Widget, if you'd be so kind, will you grab a link to the training queues off the website? So a lot of people ask a lot of questions like, hey, what ship should I get in? What's going to be the best PvP ship, etc. So if you ask Alliance leadership, we're going to tell you the stuff at an Alliance level. That's where you might ask an individual PvPer, and they're going to say, oh, my favorite ship is the, this or that. So at an Alliance level, the ships that I'm trying to put you guys in, and the skill queues I'm trying to take you down, are pushing you towards eventually one day being able to do things like the Cerberus. Cerberus is an assault hack, or a heavy assault cruiser. Blech. We call them hacks. Well, the benefit of a Cerberus is that it's extremely tanky, and it's very kitey, and it's very snipey, which is the perfect kind of tool for us to utilize. We don't have to commit to a grid, per se. Does that make sense? We can maintain range. We can maintain speed. We can pick our fights. So if it goes to shit and 10 other entities show up, we have the option of getting the fuck out. We don't have to commit. That goes with a lot of our doctrines. You guys will see the Jackdaws. Did we already get that up all the way, Moby? If we haven't, that is your next objective. I want it completed.
Okay.
Okay. Jackdaws, same thing. It's a tactical destroyer. They're snipey. Same deal. Cheap, fast, easy for us to use, and maintain range with. 30 of you guys in Jackdaws can clear out any of the skirmish fleets up and down this pipe 2 or 3 times before they have to escalate to bigger shit. It does take a little bit of training time, but none of the skills that are in those skill queues are not skills that would not be valuable to any player in EVE. There's tons of core skills in there, because it's one thing just to jump in a battleship as fast as you can, but if you can't use all the parts that you need on that battleship and you don't have the experience or core skills to back it up, it's useless. Everybody does it. We talked about it earlier in the cantina too. We all raced to that cool looking battleship as fast as we could, spent 200 mil, and then lost it the same day. I think every veteran pilot in EVE could probably tell you that same story. So, and I can't stop you guys from doing it. If it's something you really want to do, go for it. But you could learn from the experience of the people that have been around for a little bit and tough out some of those core training in the beginning, become efficient at flying like the frigates and the cruisers first. You're going to have more fun in the skirmish stuff, and it's going to make you a more viable pilot all around. Because if you don't have those core skills, then you're going to find yourself always dying every time we have a fight. I'll give you one more example before I move on to the next topic. I do training fleets all the time, and I'll do some training fleets with you guys too, and you'll see this. One of the things that we'll do, though, is I'll show you guys how to keep your FC at range. And one of the first things you'll notice when you do it is you'll see this like conga line behind the FC, because the FC might be going at normal speed with this prop mod on, but then all the people that don't have their core skills up to par, the less core skills they have, the farther they lag behind in line. So in combat, if we're trying to maintain range from the enemy and the FC changes direction and he's trying to pull the fleet farther away, but you're the slowest guy, then you're the nail that just stood up and you just got hammered. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Doctrine skills are the first part of flying a doctrine, and doctrine in PvP space is God.
Yep. Doctrines, proper doctrine alliance will always kill a kitchen sink fleet every fucking time. Every time. There's a reason why every entity in this game does it. Every entity that's worth a crap has some type of doctrine. Our doctrines are focused around newer players and new skills right now. I have a lot of people ask me all the time, like, hey, why aren't we flying this or why aren't we flying that? And the reason for it is because, for example, if I try to put you guys in Serbs right now, we'd have like 5 of them, and then the rest of you wouldn't be able to get on the fleet.
It'd be fine.
So
The rest characters.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, you guys get the general idea of what I'm trying to say. So that link that Widget posted for you guys, I'm hoping she posted it.
I posted
Yep.
too.
Fantastic. Okay. So those are the skill training that we want you guys to get into. And a lot of the books and stuff for that training, you guys will get issued as new players when you come into the Alliance. And as you progress in your skill, they'll continue to issue you books and ships and other stuff. Okay. So if you're new, focus on those skill cues that we posted on that webpage. They were put together by 10 extremely intelligent people when it comes to EVE. And they're put together like that for a reason. It is the fastest route to make you guys combat viable or survivable in null-sec situations. So, for example, maybe you want to put a lot of focus in an industry, or you just want to run like signatures and stuff, and that's the stuff that you're interested in. You still need those core skills. Okay, so dig through those core skills. If you're a veteran pilot, look through the skills that were posted anyway. See if there's any that you can brush up on or something you might have missed. But I want you guys to all go through that skill plan. And I want you to actually put some focus into it. Alliance Directorate and the officers will be giving you guys some incentives to help out. All of the little prizes and all the stuff that we're going to be doing, it's going to be all based around stuff to help you guys out. Whether it's, you'll notice today we gave out a prize for spamming the Alliance, skill injectors. Those are awesome. Nobody's going to be upset about getting a skill injector. It's an awesome prize to get, but it also helps further our cause. Okay? Now, with politics and everything going on the way it is and the current meta in the game, now's not the time for us to wave and toast this wands. So that's something that you guys don't have to rush to. If you already got the skills, don't worry about it. I promise we're going to be using it a whole lot. I really want to put an emphasis on some of the skirmish fighting. You guys are going to win some fights. You're going to lose some fights. I could give a rat's ass about how the kill board looks. If it's solid red, solid green, awesome. Either way, okay? However, we are going to start giving away some prizes in the form of things like skill injectors to the weekly top kill board and to top fleet participation. So make sure that you guys are getting in fleets, getting involved. And if you guys are into PvP, you get rewarded for those things. For those who are more into the industrial side of things, we'll be finding ways to reward you guys for your participation and stuff as well. Fleet participation is for any Alliance fleet, not just combat fleets. Okay? I want to take a couple minutes here and talk to you guys about a couple other issues that have popped up. One is we are aware that for whatever reason, the fleet calendar in Seat is not rebroadcasting into Discord like it's supposed to. We will be fixing that ASAP or finding a workaround to make sure that you FCs do not have to like beg someone to put a post up for you. Yeah. So to directors, we were sitting there thinking that fleets and stuff weren't going up because we don't see announcements because that's where we would normally look. Now I looked on Seat last night and fleets have been going up like crazy. We just weren't seeing it in announcements. And if we as alliance directors aren't seeing it in announcements, then the rest of the line members aren't seeing it either. So I apologize for that, and we're going to fix that. Also want to let you guys know that we're going to be adjusting. SMA is not going to be accepting corporations under, what did we decide number-wise, Widget? Do you want to AFK on me? I think it 30, yeah. So new corporations under 30 members won't be allowed into SMA. That's going to stop some of the poaching that was going on. So I want to make sure that you guys understand that it doesn't do us any good as a community to train you guys up into hardened killers or industrial grind machines just to have somebody else come and pull you out of SMA. That doesn't help us achieve our goals. So we're selfish. We love you guys. We want to keep you here. We want to make sure this community is worth fighting for. So, and that starts at the players. SMA. Okay. Diplomats. I'm seeing we have a few diplomats in here right now. Okay, I want to, as we have a huge influx of new players coming in again, you guys know what this looks like. Some of you were part of the influx on one of the previous polls. Cantina is going to get very full, you guys. If it starts getting too chaotic in a cantina and you're doing things like standing fleet, use the standing fleet channels. Spread out a little bit. Don't be afraid to use your corp channels and stuff too. I'm not saying you can't be in the cantina, but if it gets too crazy in there and you're finding it overwhelming, instead of raging out, telling everyone to shut up, go find another channel. Keep in mind that also the cantina is a public channel. So if you're having a conversation in the cantina, assume that that conversation is meant for everybody because everybody else is. Okay? So if you want to have a private conversation about your WoW character or something stupid like that, I say stupid because I hate WoW, then pick another channel. You know what I'm saying?
Can I make a notation?
After I'm done, let me finish first. Usually I like to get through my firesides and be selfish, take up all the mic time, and then I'll let you guys make comments. Okay. I know that sometimes Eve can be a little bit of a grind. You guys are interested in some other things. And if you are interested in maybe trying something out outside of Eve or whatever, we can give you some options within the community. We're going to host an SMA barbecue. We're going to be doing that probably end of month. SMA barbecues are not traditional barbecues where we all get together and break quarantine. SMA barbecues are a little bit different. Basically, everybody makes a whole bunch of good food for their family. We post all the pictures of the food so everybody can be jelly. And then the people who didn't participate can go, oh, because we're mean like that. And in the meantime, we play a whole bunch of different games outside of Eve. We've done, I know one time we did a bunch of Diablo 3 raids where we just burned through all the missions with a whole bunch of parties. We've done Counter-Strike. We've done Planet Side. We haven't done Planet Side in a while. That's fun. We just invade Planet Side with like 100 brand new people and go screw things up. We have a 7 days to die server, which is the newest version's pretty cool. Got a lot of new stuff in there. I'll post details on that. You guys are all welcome into there. So there's things you can do within the community where you can, if you need to, take a break from Eve for a little bit or whatever. I'd rather you step away from Eve for a couple of days than to quit altogether. Does that make sense? I know the learning curve in Eve is super extreme. And we're trying to find as many ways as possible to help you guys navigate that curve. But if you need to step away or something, that's fine, especially when we don't have active campaigns going on. So a campaign, an example of campaign would be like what we just did to French Connection. That's a campaign, right? So it's not our ultimate goal and the current narrative. It's a campaign, and they can be small and short. Sometimes they can be longer, but in between campaigns, as long as you guys are participating and doing alliance stuff on and off, I don't care if you guys are doing stuff outside of Eve, especially if we're keeping it within the community. So if anybody at the end of the meeting has other suggestions or whatever, we can do that too. We'll post details about the SMA barbecue. I think we usually do prizes and stuff for like the best food. We let you guys vote on it. What looks the best. We'll have some fun with it. And when this coronavirus is done, and if the world hasn't turned into zombies by then, then maybe we'll start doing some actual Eve meets and stuff. I know that's stuff that we have a lot of interest in that we've done in the past. Yeah. We've had Eve meets in Portland. I know we've had East Coast Eve meets for SMA. We invaded Eve Vegas one year with more monkeys than I've ever seen in one place. That one was so big, you guys, that we couldn't ook because ooks didn't carry far enough. So we were saying caca when we were trying to figure out where everyone was at. And at one point I said caca, and no shit, you could hear nothing but cacas up and down the entire fucking Vegas Strip. Like there had to be hundreds of them.
That's great.
Yeah. Or we had someone did a caca or whatever in one of the big bars, and the bar owner or whatever came over and told us we were going to have to leave because we were making too much noise. And I think he thought it was just going to be our table, and the entire fucking bar got up and left. So we've had some pretty fun meets. The Disneyland Anaheim meets were tons of fun, although I think they took down Rainforest Cafe, bastards. But that's all stuff I'm really excited to get into. So for you guys just joining the community, SMA is a very old community in Eve, and even before Eve, this community was started off of a LAN party group down in Central Oregon. So we've been doing all sorts of stuff community based and gaming for a really long time. I'm really proud of like where we came from, and SMA's got a super rich lore and stuff in the game. We've been part of just about every major conflict and every big giant thing that's happened in this game. We weren't just there, but usually we were like instrumental in either starting it or ending it one way or the other. So you guys stumbled upon a really fun group. I want to put a huge emphasis on our office staff and our officers and our Diplos. I want to make sure that we're maintaining not just the narrative of what we're doing and what's going on, so we don't get distracted and stray in other directions. But I also want to make sure that we don't run into some of the issues that we had in the past. And if you guys are coming across scenarios where people are getting like heated or upset or whatever, I want to make sure that we're addressing people's issues. But Diplos, I'm giving you permission right now to drag people out of the channel and go talk to them away from the group. So we don't need 50 people listening to a rage fest, because then what happens is this is like another like 10 people leave because they don't want to fucking listen to it. Okay, and I'd be one of those people. I have enough drama in my life right now. So, I've had people tell me in the past, Diplos aren't police. Bullshit. Diplos have been the police in SMA since SMA's creation. We literally called diplomats blue gloves. You guys ever seen Firefly? Okay, 2x2 hands of blue. That's why we call our Diplos blue gloves. Okay, they're not evil people that are gonna kick people out of TeamSpeak and all sorts of stuff like that. They want to get to the bottom of the problem and figure out what's going on and see if they can solve it. I just wanted to make sure you guys are doing it, not in like the cantina and shit. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Diplos and people that could potentially be getting drug, put an X in Alliance chat and Discord, so everybody understands. Okay. I want to see X's in Discord anyway. So one day, if you're having a really bad day and you lose your ish and a Diplo drags you, you understand why.
And speaking as a Diplo, we're not going to be dragging you just for the fun of it for the most part.
For the most part.
Try and talk you down.
Yeah. For the most part.
Well, that's why we have a separate channel in CMP for people who are, it was the Dunce Lounge.
Yeah. So for the most part, they're going to try and talk you off the ledge or push you off either way.
And like once you got dragged in there, you couldn't leave or nothing. You were in that channel until they drug you out.
Okay. I know that we are not a high sec alliance, you guys, and I want to really emphasize this. This has been hard because what happens is if you stay in high sec for too long, you start adapting to high sec life, and the high sec grind of day-to-day running level 4 missions, etc., or whatever. That's not what EVE's about. Everything cool and fun and EVE and all the videos that you watched on YouTube and all the things that made you want to play this game, 99.5% of all of that happened in nullsec, not high sec. So there's not famous Twitch streamers out there with 100,000 views while he grinds level 4 missions. So all that interesting and exciting stuff is going to be one jump away, and that's why we're taking us over to Torinos. And I want to make sure everybody understands that. So when you guys do see fleets and stuff go up or whatever, if you're not doing anything, get in on the fleet. Even if you're an indie tune. If you have followed the basic skill path that we've laid out, every player in this alliance can fly the Maulus. Have you guys seen the Maulus? It's a little frigate, sensor damp frigate. Okay, so during my training fleets, I like to show people this, but obviously I'm a really high skilled player. Okay, I can be in like a Naga with super long range sniping skills. It takes one sensor damping frigate, one tiny ass T1 super cheap sensor damp frigate with anybody who's trained up at least the skills to level 3 to take my max target range from 200 something all the way down to like 2. Okay, so everybody in here, by the time that you are done training to be able to fly that Maulus, is combat capable, so don't think that you're not. And every FC in here should always be taking E-War frigates. That's a combat multiplier. I don't give a shit if you are doing a snowflake fleet full of hacks or something like that. Always take the force multipliers. You guys should always be willing to take the guys out in mobs to get them their experience. And there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of tackle frigs. Okay? Now, I want to talk about SRP. This is important because this actually came up over this last month. We have 2 Alliance days right now in SMA. Obviously, Alliance days will not work once we're in nullsec, especially in NPC space. Once we go out there, we'll probably adjust to a tax-based system, because that's what most people do. But the Nubro corporation that stays back, they're going to be continuing to do those Alliance days. But for right now, we're all in it together, and those Alliance days are literally what funds things like SRP, or these skill injectors that we're giving out. And all the contract ships and all the other stuff that cost a bunch of money, we get that from your guys' grinding on those Alliance days. Now, eventually, once we get enough people active in operating, we won't have to have 2 Alliance days. We'll knock it down to 1. So we're not greedy. There's no super secret river stash somewhere where I'm hoarding, 15 billion-isk worth of random parts and salvage shit. First off, any of the directors in here will tell you right now that's a little crock because I hate doing industry and there's no way in hell that I would skill up enough to move that shit around.
Truth.
Okay. All that stuff.
I bought me a jump freighter.
Yeah, I literally bought Matt a jump freighter because I won't move shit. So, that being said, all that stuff gets broken down, distributed as needed for whatever alliance projects we have going on, and either gets marketed or stockpiled if the markets aren't good for it at the moment. Like, for instance, when mineral prices were fluctuating, we hoarded some of it to make sure that we weren't wasting your guys' time. You guys would be really mad if we sold a bunch of minerals for like $5 bill, where if we would have waited like 2 weeks, we could have got 3 times out of that, right? Okay, so that's what alliance days are. So let's make no mistake about it. That is what alliance days are. They literally fund everything right now. That's why there's no corporation fee, monthly fee. There's no super high taxes or any other bullshit going on in SMA because everything comes out of those alliance days. Okay. You guys are really good on the alliance days about pulling anywhere between like $1 and $2 bill. It sounds like a lot if you're a brand new player, but that's enough to basically keep the lights on and pay SRP at the moment, which is just fine. We're not greedy. In this alliance, we're always going to set all the like wallet divisions, all the corp stuff at an alliance level. They all have a cap put on it, basically. And once they reach a certain point to avoid theft and other scary stuff, we turn around and redistribute the assets either back onto you guys, or if it's liquid ISK, it goes into an actual player account because player accounts can't be robbed. Okay? So that's how that works. So at the end of the meeting, if you guys have questions about that, you can feel free to ask questions about it. Alliance days are also an awesome opportunity for FCs to take you guys out and go run the Triglavian sites, for example. The conduits, they're not only awesome for mining, it's great fleet training, especially for low-skilled pilots who can't just go in there and solo them. That can get pretty butthole puckering a little bit. Okay? So it's a good chance for you guys to get the experience and stuff and start learning some of the basics in EVE outside of actual training fleets. So please participate and be part of the alliance days when they go up. SRP. Anytime you guys are out on an official alliance fleet, okay? Anytime an FC says, hey, this fleet is going to be SRPable, for the moment, just so you guys know, I will allow fun fleets that are any fun fleet that takes either the mob doctrine or ghouls. You guys can consider those SRPable straight up. I'm not going to step on Sky Team's toes if they want to look at other doctrines like the cruisers and stuff. That will be up to Mobius, and he can go over that with you guys another time. But for right now, the New Bro doctrines, which is the Coraxes and the Kestrels, and the Molluses, you guys can burn that shit up all day long, and if you lose the ship, file SRP. Can one of the directors please post a link to SRP real quick? I want to walk you guys through this. I want to make sure everyone in here understands how to file an SRP claim. I know it seems silly to some of you more advanced players going, oh, it's just a Kestrel, who cares? But brand new players care. Okay, did we get that link posted?
Yeah.
User disconnected from
Right
your
on.
channel.
So, Alliance Chat. So if everybody clicks that link, SRP request is pretty easy. Just follow the instructions that are on this page. You guys can bookmark this page in your browser if you like. So anytime you lose a ship,
User in your channel
and you need to file SRP, this is where you do it. What happens is they pay SRP out, so you're just going to get ISK back in your wallet, and then you can grab another ship right off contract and go right back to work. Okay, so we'll use a Corax as an example. Say you're on a fleet with an FC and you lose your Corax, file for SRP. They're going to send you ISK back, and then you can literally open up contracts in game and buy another fully fit Corax ready to go with the ISK you just got. It's pretty simple. And sometimes the ISK that you get versus the contract aren't always going to be exact, but they're going to be pretty close enough in price that it's going to make that not a blow to lose the ship. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We do
User in your
alliance
channel is
contracts
recording.
for ship hulls, fully fit ship hulls. Okay. So you'll see them go up in Torinos as they're being moved. A bunch of them probably being pulled down. If you didn't know this, though, in the SAM area, you should be able to open up ship contracts or just open up contracts in general. Set the filter to Alliance only. Those are all fully fit ships that you can nab right off a contract. You don't have to fly to Jeddah and fit that all out. That's a service that players in the Alliance provide to their fellow Alliance mates. It is a service, though, so understand that there's a premium on there for our laziness. But I think you'll find that it's just people who value the time will usually just nab a contract. Okay. Now, if you see contracts up there and they're super high priced and you don't like the price on it, don't buy it. Go buy a ship hull from Jeddah or whatever and put it together. During campaigns and major war events, the Alliance directors might come down on people putting contracts up, put limits on it to make sure there's not profiteering. But for the most part, in SMA, we run open markets. So same thing with, like, say, in Torinos, when people start seeding the markets over there. If you see a guy put 10,000 heavy missiles up on market for like an insane markup and you don't want to spend the money, then go get the missiles from somebody else. Or if you're really pissed off about it, go buy 10,000 of your own missiles and go put them up cheaper. Okay? So fair markets, free markets, and SMA. So hopefully that answers some of you guys' questions about that I've been getting. All right. Okay, so put an X in Alliance chat again if everybody understands the SRP bit and you guys bookmarked it and all that jazz, okay? Right on. All right, guys. I got one more topic to talk about in this fireside because this isn't meant to be a full-blown Alliance meeting. This is just a fireside, which are supposed to be shorter. I want to talk to you guys about some Alliance definitions that are important. First, firesides get thrown like shooting from the hip. They happen because a meeting needs to happen. Important information needs to be relayed, and we don't have time to wait like a week for an Alliance meeting to be pre-scheduled. That's a fireside. Big Alliance meetings will get posted. So if there's going to be a big meeting, it's something that'll get posted like a week in advance. So if you're listening to this recording because you couldn't be here and you're like, why did it get posted in advance? That's why, because it's a fireside. Okay. We always try and record the meetings so that you guys can hear them, even if you miss them. I want to talk to you guys about definitions when it comes to fleet stuff real quick. Hold on, I got to sneeze. Didn't feel like doing that on a microphone. Definitions. Strat-op. So strat-ops are mandatory. When the Sky Team puts up strat-op, we drop what we're doing and we go get into the fleet. So it's one of those deals where you don't keep ratting or keep mining during a strat-op. It's extremely shunned upon. You'll piss everybody off around you who did drop what they were doing to go handle shit. Now here's the promise and commitment that the Sky Team makes in return for your service and for you dropping everything you're doing and getting into the strat-ops. Strat-ops are only put up to either defend VIPs or important assets. So, for example, if we had a capital or something tackled, right? Or a jump freighter or something. Or to create or defend timers. That's it. That's what strat-ops are. You're either creating timers, defending timers, or protecting an asset. And all three of those things are important for the community as a whole. All right? FCs, we don't call Fun Fleet strat-ops. We don't put gate camps up as strat-ops. Strat-ops are only to create a timer, defend a timer, or protect an asset. Period. Okay? So, fun fleets, skirmish fleets, all that stuff, roams, gate camps, and all that stuff, those don't classify as strat-ops. But for those that are wanting to get that good fleet participation in and want to get the experience and stuff, you guys need to get into as many of those as you're willing to get into. Okay? It's good for all of you guys. I want to talk about communication definitions. So in comms. So if the FC tells you that the comms are open, chat away. Bullshit. All you want. If the FC tells you that comms are black, what he's saying is he needs everybody to stop talking. We have channel command. We have direct whispers and stuff going on. So that FC might be getting told a whole bunch of important information by 3 or 4 different groups that might not even be in the channel with you. And you can't hear it, but he can. Which means that he needs everyone to hush up. Or maybe he just needs to concentrate, so he needs everyone to stop telling, bad dad jokes or something like that long enough for him to be able to figure out what the best strategy for his fleet is going to be. So FCs, if you need to tell everyone comms black. That's what that means. Comms black means comms are dark. Means everyone shuts up except for the FC or important people like scouts or something that he's trying to get information from directly. Okay, so put an X in Alliance chat if you guys understand that. Okay. Skirmish fleets and fun fleets, by definition, do not have to have 50 people in them. You can go do a gate camp with 3 dudes. I know, Bannerlogs does it all the time. There's 2 Gnosises that sit over there and Ewok like daily. Okay? So, FCs, as long as you guys got 2 or 3 people in your fleet, and it's not just you by yourself, I have zero problem with you SRPing the ghoul and mob fleets for that stuff, okay? So don't think that there's some kind of like limit or something. If you only had 4 people in the fleet, you can't SRP or something. It's not like that at all. All right. RFCs are actually been doing an awesome job. I want to tell you guys, I opened up Seat and I could literally see a fleet, a fun fleet, a roam fleet, training fleet every single day for like the last week and a half. We've had fleets going up, and I really appreciate it. FCs are content creators, and they're the ones that make this game fun. And we appreciate you guys for your hard work and your efforts. And I just hope that we can find the right focuses and attention where we can keep you guys doing that stuff and creating that content and fun and still achieve our ultimate alliance goals. And I'm hoping this move to Torinos will help you guys with that, okay? All right, there's something else. I forgot something. One second. We'll do questions in just a second. Widget, what am I forgetting? Oh yeah. Yep. Oh, requisitions NPI. Okay. A lot of you guys have been really annoyed that there isn't any PI in the area that we were in. There is PI in Torinos, but it's still pretty steep. I think it was like 10% or something like that. However, we went and did a whole bunch of scouting last night, and we have 2 alternatives that are actually pretty damn good for you guys. One is in Tartoken, which is actually only like 3 or 4 jumps from Torinos, so it's pretty damn close. There's a corporation out there that owns all of the fucking, what do they call them, customs office, the gantries or whatever. I'm pretty sure it's a dead corporation, and it's set to 1.5% tax rate, which is pretty low. So that's totally viable, and it's close enough to our area of operation now and our area of operation in the future that you don't have to be afraid that you're going to have to tear down all your PI and put it back up every 10 seconds. If for some reason the corporation out there is not dead and they try and block us from using the POCOs or whatever the hell, or raise the taxes or whatever, then the Sky Team will go out there and do some gunboat diplomacy. The other option that I have available to you guys is we kicked the EXPCS Corp out of Alliance because it had structures, and I was trying to keep you guys from getting war decked. But the structures that EXPCS happens to have is something like 47 POCOs throughout Pureblind. And I'm pretty sure that we have a couple of systems that we don't own the SOV in, but we still own all the POCOs. So we could probably figure that out as well. I do know that Tartoken did have a plasma planet, an OSHA planet, a Baron, and a bunch of gas. So PI options. So we'll make sure we get that posted maybe in the MOTD and put that information out so you guys can go check it out. Set up your PI chains. That's a great way to make some extra income. And I know that there's been a lot of concern about it, and I wanted to make sure that we had a way of fixing that, and now we do. I want to talk about requisitions. This virus and all the stuff that's been going on has really wrecked some of us as far as real life goes. Some people like me have found that getting laid off, for example, doesn't mean suddenly you have more time to be on the computer. It means that even though you're home, you're doing a million other things, trying to make sure that your families are okay, and we understand that. This is one of those situations where we found that one of our officers just was not having enough time to be able to handle one of the offices. So what we've done is I've asked the Alliance directors, all of them are actually going to be taking over the requisitions office. Okay, and we're going to be finding some good purpose and direction for that office that meet the Alliance goals. And so it can be a little bit more efficient, and you guys can get some good content as far as industrial and building out of there too. We want to make sure that it's a good experience for everybody involved. But we love our industrial. Our requisitions officer, Cree, she's a good guy. He just does not have the ability to be able to maintain the office right now. So that's what that comes down to. I think that was it. I think we pretty much covered everything. So now we can do questions.